So did you know that it's Johnny Depp's fault that Pirates of the Caribbean wasn't diverse enough? According to Disney, that's the idea that they're shopping around again. See, from what I'm hearing, apparently Disney is terrified, and I do mean terrified, of what's going to become of their beloved Pirates franchise. And you know what? I really can't blame them. I would be terrified too. See, over the last few weeks, that includes about 3 weeks ago all the way until now, we started hearing reports about how Disney is treating their beleaguered star, with Disney blocking Johnny Depp's Pirates of the Caribbean return. See, despite the fact that everyone from the director to co-stars have stood up for the man, reports suggest that Disney, they're even refusing to entertain the idea of Johnny Depp appearing in a cameo in the next Pirates of the Caribbean movie. Now, Disney, for their part, they want to defuse this multi-billion-dollar issue, and really, you can understand that, but they want to do it on their terms. So instead of talking about this issue, instead of going out and admitting they could be doing wrong, what they want to do is sell this idea. Pirates of the Caribbean, it's going to be moving forward, but now with more diversity. Now, the problem with associating that idea with a product is somebody's to blame. And you know what? Disney, they don't want the blame. The executives behind the movies, they don't want the blame. And they certainly don't want you blaming the Pirates franchise. So you know who's the easy fall guy? Yeah, you got it. You got it indeed. And let's talk about all of this now. So hey there to all you wonderful folks, by the way. I hope you're having a pleasant holiday experience. And with 2021 coming up, let's wave bye-bye to 2020 and let's talk about that wonderful, wonderful world of Hollywood blockbusters. Now, with regard to this subject, I'm relying on a few sources. I'm relying on the mainstream narrative, of course. I'm looking at different articles that come up, but I'm also relying on some things that sources are saying. So, take those as you will. So first things first, there are a few specific items that you and I, we do know with absolute certainty, like the idea in 2018 that Johnny Depp, he was removed from the franchise that he himself created. And make no mistake, he did create Pirates of the Caribbean, because without Captain Jack Sparrow, really, where would it be? From there, we have seen efforts to shut down anyone that's a detractor of that. We have seen the director come out and say, hey, he would be great to add to this. Oh, nope, that's no dice. We've seen co-stars come back and say, hey, this franchise, it's nothing without him. Nope, got to shut that down. No dice. And apparently some of that, it's not just associated with what was going on from 2016 to 2020. Oh no, it's associated with old vendetta, with the fact that Johnny Depp, he set out, he created a character in a way that he wanted. Executives, they said, hey, it's not going to fly that way. And you know what was right? Well, it wasn't the executives, who cannot stand to be proven wrong. See, despite the fact that Disney is now selling the idea of, quote-unquote, adding diversity to pirates, there's a story about Michael Eisner, the former CEO of Disney, running in with Johnny Depp. And Johnny Depp, he committed the ultimate sin. He told the public about it. Here's what he said. It trickled back to me that the former CEO, Michael Eisner, went on some sort of bend about how, GD, Johnny Depp's ruining the film. What is that thing? Is it drunk? Is it gay? He said before recalling a meeting with the quote-unquote upper echelon. The upper echelon, those are words that a lot of people miss in the recounting of this tale. We're not just talking about Michael Eisner. We're talking about top executives here. Top executives that had a problem. This, it doesn't make them look good. And Johnny Depp, he's talking about them and talking about what they truly represent. Quote, what the bleep are you doing? He was asked. When they asked if it was gay, I said, didn't you know that all my characters are gay? I really expected to be fired, but I wasn't for some reason. They were actually going to put subtitles under my character. They couldn't understand Captain Jack. Apparently, they couldn't understand what he was saying, but they couldn't understand the characterization. And he goes on to tell you from here, he didn't listen to what they were telling him about how to carry the character forward, and he was right. He said that publicly. He was right. And think about how vindictive some of these people are. Now, as far as vendetta is concerned, you cannot release somebody that makes you billions of dollars. I mean, you know how that's going to make you look. But you know what you can do? You can get rid of somebody that is a quote-unquote reputation risk. And, well, you got to put spin to it, too. There's some of the spin here, and then I want to show you some spin that's transpiring behind the scenes. Quote, now a report released by THR, they're talking about the Hollywood Reporter, reveals Disney blocked Depp's return, citing producer Jerry Bruckheimer's desire to include Depp in the next Pirates of the Caribbean movie, even if it was just for a cameo role to hand the reins over the franchise to Margot Robbie. The report says, quote-unquote, Disney balked. They balked at the idea, refusing to entertain the idea due to the reputation risk it would pose for the family-friendly media giant. Sure it was. Sure, that's what it was about. The revelation indicates Depp's time as Jack Sparrow is well and truly over, confirming Robbie's movie is an attempt to take the franchise in a new direction. Now this is from the THR report. Quote, Disney had already backed away from a pirate's future with Depp well before the UK trial, even if it never formally severed ties. Bruckheimer, who had always been one of Depp's biggest champions and once suggested the finger injury happened because, quote-unquote, he got it caught in a car door, was hoping to at least bring Captain Jack Sparrow character back briefly in the next outing, said to be a female-centric incarnation fronted by Margot Robbie. Disney balked. Now, I've seen this move dozens and dozens and dozens of times. What they're doing here is they're trying to silence people that speak up about this issue by saying, hey, we're adding diversity, despite the fact, again, they didn't like the way that character came across before. If you look at statements like this here, for example, and the phrase female-driven spinoff is enough to spark the fury of 1,000 militant trolls, especially with Margot Robbie involved, given the fact that she's already led Birds of Prey to the lowest box office total the DCEU has ever witnessed. So, you're not somebody that's a detractor of this decision. You're not somebody that's going out speaking about justice. No, you're part of 1,000 militant trolls that don't like diversity, that don't like female-driven spinoffs. Shame on you. Shame on you indeed. Now, as far as spin is concerned, there are two ways that you approach that. And this is supposed to make it untouchable. You're not supposed to be able to talk about it and criticize it anymore. One is the Margot Robbie, very, very public way of spinning, forward thinking. She talked about how in June they were going to add lots of girl power. Really excited at the prospect of adding, obviously, a very key female element to that world. You know, because all of the other female characters that have been there, they don't matter. All of that diversity before, that doesn't matter. Now, she keeps adding on to this, too. She's been talking about wanting to explore the attraction of her character in there. You know, again, this stuff, it's all about spin and forward, and then you have what's supposedly left behind. Now, if you're selling the idea of moving forward to quote-unquote greater diversity, you have to be walking away from lesser diversity, right? And you need something to blame. You don't want to blame your executives. You don't want to blame your product. You don't want to blame your company. So who do you blame? In this case, you blame Johnny Depp. Now, we've already seen very public blame, but a source hit me up with something new, and I thought this was fascinating. I trust this source, too. I know. Take this as you will. I hate it when people say a source, but still, take this as you will. This source told me that an idea that came and went years ago is being shopped again, and that's the idea that Johnny Depp, he went out and he struck down diversity. So you had the screenwriter of the first 4 Pirates movies. They made a blog post, and they were talking about how they wanted a female villain. Now, according to that person, you had this idea rejected. Again, not by the company or executives, but by Johnny Depp himself, because he didn't want redundancy. He didn't want Dark Shadows to have that and Pirates to have that, which it makes sense, or it makes sense in a sane world. This world, however, we're not talking about a sane world. We're talking about a world of spin. We're talking about a world of blame. And we're talking about blame that it really is associated with billions of dollars. And really, at its core, that's what you're talking about. You're talking about billions of dollars. You're not talking about a franchise. You're not talking about diversity. You're not talking about any of that stuff. You're talking about a company that wants to sell you a product that carried out vendetta, and they don't want to lose all of this. That's That's the insult in it, too. I mean, if you think about it, look at those totals. In 2003, you have 650 million plus. 2006, you have over $1 billion. 2007, you have almost $1 billion. 2011, you have over $1 billion. Again, 2017, you have almost $800 million. They're hoping that they can go in, they can revitalize this, and they're hoping that they can do it on spin. They know, though, they know that this stuff, it's going to fail. They know that it won't carry out. The executives behind that move, they do, and they have to sell it. You know how they have to sell it? It's your fault. You made this happen. Not because you had a problem with what happened to Johnny Depp, not because you have a problem with the way the brand treated him. Oh no, because you and a bunch of militant trolls, you're the problem with everything. That's always the spin, and well, it's all Johnny Depp's fault. Interesting, no. But anyway, let me know what you think about that in the comments. And as always, I appreciate the heck out of you. You make this stuff possible. You make it work. Not them. They've forgotten that too, but you. But anyway, let me know what you think. And if you want to help out the channel in different ways, there are memberships, there's merchandise, PayPal, Patreon, and of course our luscious comic book.